This is our third meeting or engagement since we began the April-May diet, and we are moving ahead to ensure that we do all the needful before our examination comes on next month. And I want to believe that each of the groups that have been set up are marching on with their seminar proposals, seminar papers. So, welcome again. We want to move ahead to another field. The last two lectures we discussed extensively on what the profession of social work is. We have talked about who professionals are. We have talked about professional ethics and ethics and values of social work. We have also talked about the need for ethical behavior in the social work profession. We also have talked about the issue of values and ethics in social work. We've highlighted about 6 of those ethics, and we have said we should go ahead to our website to check more on it. I think we have about 18 on the website. We also have talked about the basic social work principles. Today, we'll be taking on the ethical principles screen, EPS, the ethical principles screen, has been built up on what we discussed on the objectives of social work and the basic principles of social work. So we're looking at what Lowenborn and Dogoff gave to us as a screen for ethical principle. Like I said, we have talked about the basic social work ethical principles, and we are talking about the goals of social work. Now we are looking at the screen. How do what are the benchmarks for us when we are making decisions for with our service users? When we are at the table of intervention, or in the office of intervention, or we are the community of intervention, what are we looking at? How do we make our decisions, and how do we ensure that decisions we make are in sync with our ethical principles, so that we don't violate any ethics of the profession that will bring issues in the course of your profession or after you might have finished engaging with your service users. It is very, very important that we look at this screen. And what does Lowenborn and Dogoff say? They said that in the practice of social work, we are expected to make choices. And our choices are the choices we make with our service user in our intervention engagement must comply with certain rules. That it must comply with certain rules, and those rules are not far-fetched with from what we know as our ethics. Just that we need to take a step further to ensure that the decision we are making, when we are going about our intervention, is in sync with what the ethics of the profession seek. Our attitudes, our behavior must be in sync with the ethics and principles of our profession. Because when we negate that, we go into ethical dilemma, or we go into something that may create chaos or create problems or create difficulties for us in practice and also create difficulties for the agencies we work with, and that may result into a form of litigation or the other. I know when the issue of litigation comes into a person as a result of how he has behaved during his intervention with service users, it means that temporarily a person like that, the person's license may be withdrawn, and at the end of the day, or suspended. And at the end of the day, the person is found guilty, the license may be withdrawn. So it is very important that we look at it. It is a way of helping us to further check the basis of our interventive engagement or intervention engagement with our service user. We have said before that social work ethics is about normative ethics and a meta ethics. And we said at the beginning of this course that what guides our attitude, our behavior in practice is a premise on truth. Truth to yourself, truth to your service users, truth to your agency, truth to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and truth to the profession and the larger society. And that means that in normative ethics, you are dealing with the principle that you live by. Each one of us have our principles. And our principles sometimes may also be positive. And some of our attitudes and behaviors may also be negative while in the course of our practice. That is why we are saying that this ethical principles frame is very important to be able to check or double check what our own life and character have been in the course of our engagement. Now, there are three, in practice, there are three areas we look at. We look at knowledge, there's a cause for that. We look at skill, there's also a cause for that. And then we look at aptitude, there is a cause for that. We have three courses, four courses. One is a seminar, that one is general, it's practice, it's clinical, and it's academic. So we're looking at the other two courses, there is knowledge and skill course, and there is the attitude course. My course and the other course that talk about competence are attitude. You see the priority we are giving to our practice. It is very, very crucial that we look deep into how we practice or how our practice has been, how our practice will be, and how our practice will continue to grow and develop. If it will go and develop and to be at par with other developed nations, it means that we must see ourselves and we must treat ourselves. And we must be able to conduct ourselves in certain manner that is becoming of social workers who will practice anywhere on planet Earth. And that is why we lay much emphasis, and there are two courses that we have on attitude. Attitude in practice is all that will make or will mar your practice. Attitude of social workers that agency. Attitude in practice is how your colleague will also look at you, whether you are you are doing what is right or what is wrong within the framework of rules and values that is laid down within the practice, within the nation, within the agency you work with. So attitude is everything in practice. That is why you also have that of knowledge and skill, is two-in-one course. The one Dr. Adejimo is handling is a two-in-one course that talks about knowledge and skills. Because with knowledge and skill and a bad attitude, you have marred the practice. You may be very sound in knowledge, sound in skill, but when your attitude negates that knowledge and skill, it means you have rubbished your practice. It means you have rubbished the practice of social work. It means you have rubbished your agency. It means you have rubbished the nation. It means you have rubbished all of us. And that is why we are concentrating on this. And one thing is very crucial. I mentioned it at the beginning of this lecture, and I've mentioned it today, is the saying of the truth. In fact, I normally ask my students to raise up their hand anywhere I can see you, whether you're raising it or not. So lift up your hand and say with me that in my practice, I will be ethically true. I will say the truth at all times and nothing but the truth. I will behave myself in a truthful manner at all times and nothing but the truth. If this foundation is gotten, it means that we are halfway gone in a better delivery of our service, not just for people, but also for your conscience. Also for your conscience. So because of that, we want to see social workers who are practicing at par with others and who are delivering excellent services. Social workers who, at the end of the day, will look back and also be happy that they have rendered service to humanity and that they have put smiles on people's face as much as you can within the ambit of the ethics of your profession and within the ambit and the principles of your profession and the rules and regulations of your agency. So it is not a time for us to joke with the issue of attitude in social work. So we are saying that when you are making ethical decisions, when you are doing intervention with individuals, with groups, with communities, or in your interaction with your colleagues, or your interaction with your supervisors, or your interactions with your juniors, or your interaction with the larger society, or interaction with the significant others of your service users, all must be viewed with this screen at the back of your mind, or at the fore, let me not put at the back, at the fore of your heart. Okay, Lewandowski and Dolgoff talked about this screen. One, they said the guarantee of basic survival needs of all must be a prima facie issue when we are relating with our service users, whether it is individual, a family, a group, a community. The guarantee of basic survival needs of all must. And if you look at the basic principles that we earlier highlighted and discussed about in about two, as I think that was last week, you see that if you look at those 10 basic principles, they all are ironing out and defining for us at one level or the other what the basic survival needs of all are. And coming from our own angle as social workers, they are telling us the kind of people we ought to be. They are telling us how we need to relate with our service users. They are telling us how we need to relate with our colleagues. They tell us how we need to relate with the larger society. In the essence, it says further that the protection of a person's life is sacrosanct. When the issue of our intervention have to do with a person's life or the life of others, whether it's the life of other members of his family, of his workplace, or whether the life of his significant other or whatever. He said, life is sacrosanct. We must be able to protect and defend people's lives at the expense of confidentiality sometimes. Why did he say so? This I will explain further. Number two, the promotion of equitable, equal, and accessible opportunities for all people. Social workers are information officers, must be able to at all times give us information that will help people. Social workers don't hoard information, except for that which can hurt a service user, a significant other, or people around him. But for that which will transform a person's life, for that which will make a person to be better citizen, for that which will make a person to become a better person for his own life, a better person for his family, a person must be given a fair and equitable, accessible opportunity for information and opportunity for all. Why? Because, the last time we talked about the issue of being biased or using favoritism. Somebody from your village, your aunt, your uncle, your niece have opportunity, and other children also have opportunity, or other people also have opportunity, and you want to use the influence of the fact that you know this person when he's not as qualified as this other person, and then you rate the person higher, you show favoritism than others. We are social workers. We are to do what? Give equitable and accessible opportunities for all. Don't hoard information. Give fair treatment to all. Because whether you know it, like it or not, news flies. People get to know what people have done in the course of their engagement or intervention, and one will come to know. And those whom you have helped may be the one that will expose you to the fact that you cheated, or the fact that you showed favoritism one way or the other. And after 5-10 years, somebody getting to know that he was cheated, somebody getting to know that he was stepped down because of the fact that a social worker knows this other person and that other person, and the person can still take it off. And it's a matter of discipline. So all those things are, look at it holistically when you are making decisions. Am I making a right decision, a truthful decision? Am I being fair or being truthful to this person and to that person? Am I giving them equal opportunity and things like that? You say the screen says we should look at all this in the course of our service, not just for the fact that we are making we are serving others, but also because of our conscience. Because we have just talked about the normative ethics and the meta ethics. What we are discussing as the spring falls in meta ethics. How do we get some things done? So we talked about meta ethics. So number 3, he said we must guarantee people their autonomy. We must guarantee people their autonomy, independence, and freedom. Freedom to make choices. Independence to ensure that decisions by themselves. You don't guard them, you don't force them, you don't do so. When you are making some decisions, you ensure you screen whether you are being forceful, whether you are allowing them to have freedom or you are guiding them, whether you are allowing the community to be involved in their own decision making, or it is your own idea of things that you are forcing on them. Whether what you was said that you give to that community or give to that family, are you discharging it excellently, or you are cutting corners with it? Are people allowed to be who they are? So you must look at it and look at it vis-a-vis the principles of social work. We have discussed that last week. Number 4, ensuring the least harm and or repairable harm to people. We must always ensure that we don't add to the problem of people. And where we need to expose certain things because of the fact that life matters and we must save life, then we ensure that some things are exposed, which may be of immediate danger to the service user, but at the end of the day can be repaired. So how is that going to be so that you don't enter into issues of litigation? You don't enter into the issue of conscience, or you don't enter to the issue of immorality in service. Number 5, promoting a better quality of life for all people. And that corroborates what we first said, and guarantee the great survival of all. The goal of social work is to ensure that each person, a family, a community, a group have better quality of life, that individuals become who they must be. They must be well, physically, emotionally, financially, academically, and otherwise. Number 6, maintaining a person's privacy. The issue of confidentiality is very important. And we have said in ethics, there are some sometimes where we may briefly violate the issue of confidentiality, but you must ensure that it is within the issue of threat to life. If it is concerning the issue of life, we have said life is sacrosanct. The issue of confidentiality, so when you are breaching an ethical principle, know very well, look very well to ensure that the reason you are breaking this ethical principle is because of another principle that supports it. Are we together?
Yes, we are together, sir.
Okay. So I said when you are breathing. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are here, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We are here, sir.
Very well. Okay, let's continue. So 7 is exposing the truth and fully disclosing relevant information to clients and to others. That is the 7th ethical principle screen. So if you look at these 7 screens, you will discover that if you match it with the basic principles, you will have it as a whole, and you'll be able to judge and be able to juxtapose one for the other and be able to make a good or a better informed decision, and may be a person who discharges your responsibilities as social workers equitably, effectively, fairly, and in peace. and in one bit. So they went further to say that when you are making this ethical decision, you need to take the issue of the protection of life very, very serious. We have said that at the beginning. The issue of life takes precedence over the guarantee of autonomy. You know, that's what I've just said. The issue of life takes precedence more than autonomy. You cannot say because this person has freedom of movement, freedom of this and that, and the person wants to harm another person. If a person like that wants to harm another and it comes to you, you incarcerate the person.
Yeah.
The person must be reported. And incidented before the issue of counseling or his rights. Because where somebody's rights begin, ends rather, that is where another person's rights start. Somebody is disturbing us, please mute your mics. So where the right of somebody ends is where another person's own begins. So we must be able to look at all this that are said, that when one of the principles is being breached because of the information you have, just ensure that another principle backs you up effectively. That is what we have just said. It ought to be apparent that the above mentioned ethical principle screen can be directly linked to the goals of social work. We have said that. Then they suggested, by way of the ethical rule screen, that the code of ethics should be examined early on in the course of an ethical dilemma. So, in order for us not to enter into dilemma of ethics, we are expected to study the ethical principles of social work and know it back to back. And that is the Bible of social worker. The ethics, principles, and value is the Bible of social workers. We do well to read it, understand it, and often practice. Where we are in that, we consult it. So what does this principle say? What does this principle say in the light of this decision I have taken or I am about to take? So that you don't enter into ethical dilemma or you don't cross your boundary. That's what we call boundary crossing. It is also the issue of attitude. When social workers also cross their boundaries, or when even service users cross their boundaries to social workers, it is all the issue of attitude. That is why I said at the beginning, about 3 weeks ago, that when we have engagement with service users, that's individual, family, group, community, the first thing is to build a rapport. And within that rapport scenario is the rules and regulations of the engagement, both for the service user and from the end of the social worker, must be laid down there so that each one understands where their limits end, where their rights end, and where other person's rights also begins and ends. It is part of the intro that we do as social workers to ensure that our service users understand what our stands are, what our attitudes are, and also we need to also get them to understand what their attitude should be in the course of engagement. So it's also said we must establish whether any of the rules of the ethical code are applicable. The rules of the ethical code must take preference over the social worker's personal value system. And it said that there is what we call normative ethics, which is your personal value system. But the ethics we are discussing talk about the meta ethics, which is the way you apply that your own value. So where the ethics of the organization are comes in, you have to downplay your own value. Each one of us are human beings and we have our value system. Sometimes we want to bring it into social work practice. Some of us are Christians, some of us are Muslims, some of us are African spiritualists, some of us are Hindus, some of us, because we practice at a larger scale. And you don't know where you find yourself tomorrow, where you practice, whether you be in India and you practice it, or whether your client might have issues with Indians and you need to practice and get them involved in the practice, in the intervention. And you need, because you are a Christian, you will not tell an Indian to do what he will not do. Somebody was telling me this afternoon that one Indian man asked him to pluck unripe mango, and he plucked unripe mango many, and he said to slice it for me, let me be eating. He began to slice it. As he was slicing it, the guy wanted to say, no, you that is, you have plucked it and slicing it, you must also eat it. And the person said, I don't eat unripe mango. And this man, who is an Indian, wants to force him to eat unripe mango. He is in Nigeria. We don't eat unripe mango. Even though unripe mangoes may be good for others. And our own mango must be fairly ripe, not the green. So, you see, within the practice in Nigeria, you may have Indians, you may have Chinese, you may have Korean, you may have, and as a practitioner, you have to look at all this so that your attitude, your behavior within that intervention scenario is excellent and favors all. So the fact that you, as a Muslim, you will not be pushing your religion in that. If a person that's what we call faith-based social work practice, if you know you cannot, you refer them to faith-based social work practitioner. If they are Christians and you don't want to handle them, if they are Muslims, you don't want to handle them. They are faith-based social workers who are Muslims, social workers who are Christians, social workers who are African spiritualists, social workers who are Hindus, social workers who are this and that. And don't forget that we say we practice in the midst of culture. And culture is dynamic. And culture, because culture changes, human being also is dynamic. Today, a person will be an Hindu, tomorrow is a Christian. Tomorrow, a person is an African spiritualist, next tomorrow is a Muslim. So, all this, you must be able to take everyone as he is. That's what we call autonomy, independence, freedom. And you must be a person in whose presence people come to rest. People relax by the very nature of your conduct, by the very nature of your surrounding, by the very nature of the way you present yourself, the way you communicate, and things like that. People, you must ensure that people come at rest, at peace in your presence. So it goes further that it is suggested that the ethical code be adhered to where applicable, that the ethical code be adhered to where applicable, except for where the issue of life is involved. And thirdly, it says that it is proposed that if the ethical dilemma cannot be addressed by the ethical code, then the ethical principles must be followed. If the basic principles of social work does not support this, then look at the screen. We have highlighted that screen, the 7 EPS, just look at the 7 EPS, it will guide you on what next to do so that the issue of ethical dilemma or boundary crossing does not arise within your practice. So that is what Lowenberg and Dolgoff said in helping us to take informed decisions or in helping us to be better practitioners who, having knowledge and skills, have right attitude in the course of our service to humanity. So that ends the part of ethics. For now, we'll still be meeting ethics as we go on, but that gives foundation to the course content of what we are expected to discuss at this point. We'll go straight now to social worker accountability. Social workers accountability. Perhaps before we go there, if you have any questions, before we move into social workers accountability, have any questions, contribution, confession, QCC, you may unmute and raise it. Okay, no hand is up. I think we should move ahead to social workers.
Sir, please, no. Please, sir. Please, sir. Please, sir.
Okay, Osaka.
Yes, sir.
That's all.
Eka, sir. Good afternoon, class. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. I have a client that up on top of his case at my desk. My client and the mother, they came to incident the case at my desk last year. He said the child, the lady gave birth to, she later brought the child and abandoned the child with them while the child was, I think, 2 years old. He abandoned the child with them. So they took up the child, the training and things like that. The child eventually is bonded to the guy's family. Now, they now said the lady in question reported the case to Anambra, where they are from, at the eastern part. They now gave him an invite to come. Whereas the two of them, they are both residing in Lagos. So I now told him that it shouldn't be. Both of them, despite the fact that they are from Anambra State, the case has been incidented in Lagos. The lady in question, with that we called, she did not respond. And the child has been with this guy's parents since when she has abandoned the child. And she's now threatening she wants to take her child. And she went ahead to report the case to Anambra State, where they hail from. And I told the guy that since they both reside in Lagos and this case is here with us in Lagos, they should have it settled in Lagos. Not that the lady will now go to Anambra and they will now invite him. Now the confession I'm making is I have to tell the guy not to respond to that invite since they both reside in Lagos, that she should not have gone to Anambra to report the situation, whereas both of them are staying in Lagos. So I need your ethical, professional advice on this matter.
Okay, I think the matter is simple. I'll do a little of forensic social work in that angle. You know, when something happened, something happened, there's what we call crime scene. That's what we call crime scene, where number one is to ascertain where the incident happened. The incident happened where? Is it Lagos or Anambra?
Lagos. They both stay in Lagos. They both met in Lagos. Had
The incident happened
relationship and
in
stuff.
Lagos, where she abandoned her daughter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With the family of the guy.
So that's the first to be established. The incident was the case was incidented in your office in Lagos, right?
Yes, sir.
That is number two. Now, invitation had been sent to this same woman some time ago, which she refused.
Yes, sir.
Right? It means that
yes,
she is the one violating the government of Lagos State that has sent a request to her to come to Lagos for such. Was the matter initiated with the police or civil defense?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, that's one thing that ought to have happened.
Okay.
Even though it not happened, but there's still a valid document of invitation. So what you have said that your client should not go, you are completely right. Because I would have said the same, you should not go. He that abandoned a child in Lagos should come back to Lagos.
She abandoned a child.
She should come back
mother.
to Lagos. She should come back to that family, and then they should come back to the officers that have been handling the matter. The only thing that can happen is that the letter that was sent to you, you need to also write back. You make it official and state your stance why your client will not come there. She's the one that needs to.
Sir, they did not write to my office. It was my client that they invited.
And she cannot go. But your client has already told you now. Has informed
yes,
you.
my client came to the office to inform me this
your
week.
Your client will bring that letter to your office. Did she do that?
Okay. He didn't bring the letter. He didn't.
A copy of that letter to your office. And with that letter,
I will inform him. Yes.
With that letter, you write, your office also will write back to Anambra State government.
Anambra State.
Attaching a copy of the invitation that was given, that was sent to her.
Okay.
And also incident it with civil defense. So that if she needs to be bundled from Anambra to Lagos, she'll be bundled.
Okay.
Because that is pertaining the life of a child. And for children, the matter is very clear. They had abandoned a life, ran away. They got to do whatever she likes. And so people are already taking care of the child. And she now woke up one day to want to collect the child. No, she must face the law.
The child does not even know her. The child does not even know her as the mother.
So the child, the Child Act, Child Rights and Protection is there. So you need to also look at Child Rights and Protection Act to also be able to draft the kind of letter that will be sent to Anambra State. So that when they see that type of letter, they will send her by themselves. They are come. Or they will carry her by themselves to bring her to Lagos. Or the civil defense also will radio their civil defense in Anambra and ask for her arrest. You arrest her and bring her to Lagos.
Okay.
In Lagos.
Okay.
So that's why you need to work together with other agencies. So you need to go and incident that matter with civil defense or police. But civil defense.
Okay, sir.
Sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for this explanation. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, my question is, as social work professionals, and you have a case, and you need to refer some persons to resource systems, is it wise and right for you to like collaborate with other social work professionals to seek for maybe resource systems which they might be in position to have access to? Is it acceptable, at least to work as a team, if you have a client you want to ask, you want to link up to resources, and you feel that some other professionals or your co-workers, they have a better or stronger resource systems, can you seek for their
Yeah, that is.
collaboration?
I think we have been talking about this for each time we talk about it. The necessity for us to synergize, for us uh, to know each other. I think in answering Madam Usoko's question, I've talked about the fact that we must also liaise with other agencies. Not just agencies like that are not social workers, but even within, I think about 2 weeks ago, I talked about intra and extra synergy. Intra, within the social work profession, we must know ourselves. We must know at least who social workers, community social workers are. We must know who school social workers are. We must know who is an industrial social worker. We must know who is a medical social worker. We must know who is a forensic social worker. We must know ourselves. One of the reasons we share us into group is to have this type of interaction. I'm very sure that within your group, you have diverse specialization. Somebody may be there who is into right, uh, child protection, may be there. Somebody may be there who is into social work administration. So within your group, 12 or 13 of you, you may have about 3 or 4 specializations within that group. You get to know yourself. And as you come to conferences, seminars, workshops, you further get to know people in their different specializations or where they work. So that when you have a case, you should be able to tap your finger, oh, this person is this, he can, that is his own strength, that's all, his agency this is what they handle in their agency. So you should be able to synergize. And when you are making referral, you are referring and pushing the file of that person to the place where you are referring to. You terminate. When you terminate your case, it is opened in that agency or with that social worker that you have referred the case to. Are you getting me now? When a case you want to link a person to resources that is outside of your own facility, or except if it is just a linking to resources, maybe adult education, maybe empowerment and things like that, you can refer. The person can still you can still attend to the person because just one issue is what you want addressed in that person's life to make him become positive. It may be skill acquisition. So the person goes for skill acquisition while you are still attending to his psychosocial challenges. You have to be able to link that your service user to skill acquisition resources. You are still handling the person. But if a person like like medical social workers, a person has received all the attention needed within the hospital setting, and then you know that our work is also post, pre, during, and post. That's our work. Our work does not end only in pre and during. So aftercare is involved. So who are those who will do aftercare service for this person who is coming from the hospital as an outpatient that is being discharged? The person a medical social worker who knows a community social worker within, or a rural social worker within the place that he or she is going, should be able to liaise. Oh, we have this service user, we have been able to do this, that. I think our own work has ended, or the person is coming from the prison, or sorry, correctional facility, or psychiatry, or orthopedic, or dental care, or whatever. So the person is going to the community now. You have a lot of work. You will not be able to be doing aftercare service. What you do is to tap your finger. Oh, I have a colleague who is a community social worker in that state, or in that community, or in that local government. Then you brief. You do a form of briefing, writing your own reports. That's how your report must be crispy. I don't know if social workers have documents or forms for intake, form for the procedures they pass through in the course of their engagement, and all they are going through. And when you are writing, there's a referral form, and in that referral form, there's a summary of what has been done and what is needed to be taken over by a community development social worker who is, or a rural social worker who is in that community close to the person. They should be able to now refer the person to the community social workers who will assist in the aftercare service. You have done your work as a medical person. The person is now going back into the community, and you have handed the person to a community social worker who will now take the management of that person until they also see that this person is now very fit and able to do for himself and others. I know that the community social worker also have a lot of job to be done that you as a medical social worker will not be able to do, because as a community social worker, they will be able to engage with the family of the people, of the person. They'll be able to engage with stakeholders within the community, depending on the case on hand. They're able to engage effectively. We are, what do they call it now? Stigmatization is involved. They'll be able to manage better than a medical social worker who may not have time and opportunity to do all that. Where preparation is needed in their home to receive him and to do every effective work to ensure that he is adequately landed in the family and seen through to be a better person, or able now to stand on his or her own feet. Community social worker will do that. If the person now needs a skill to learn, community social worker will be able to liaise give a better information on how that person can go learn a skill, depending on the circumstances that the person is facing. If he needs to go back to school, a community social worker will be able to also liaise with a school social worker. Oh, we have this client, we have this service user, he needs to go back to school. These are what are the procedure for him to do. So a school social worker will be able to do his own part and get the person back to school. So you see the synergy, you see how we enter into each other as professionals and as specialists in our own area. We said that social workers who are specialists and a professional, a profession that is like social work, you don't start a case or start an intervention and end it. Other people have their own parts as well. I made mention of medical practice and how there is synergy within the medical practice, from the doctor to from the medical records to the nurse who will take the vital signs to the doctor, from the doctor to the medical lab person, from the medical lab person back to the doctor who will now prescribe drugs and go back to the pharmacy, from the pharmacy, and all that. It is not the job of one person. It is the same thing with social work. We must know where our strengths are, what our agency does, what other agencies also do, and be able to navigate our service users through services to give them comprehensive uh, uh, service. So that is that. I hope I'll be able to answer that question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I hope
Thank you, sir.
A pleasure.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Can we continue now to social workers' accountability?
Yes, sir. Go on. Yes, sir.
You can continue, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Accountability of social workers is to the clients, colleagues, employers, professional associations, institutions, and to the law. At the beginning of our course, we had made mention of this, that social work accountability is very vast. And like we mentioned in ethics, that it is not one man show. And for a profession to be a profession, there must be the ethics, value, and principle of that profession. And for a profession to be a profession, there must be accountability. And for a profession to become a profession, there must be the willingness of the practitioners of that profession to see themselves as one person, one indivisible person, to see themselves as a team, to see themselves as a family, to see themselves as people who work hand in hand. When the left hand cannot rub the right hand, the hand cannot be clean. It is when the left and the right hands rub each other that the hands both can be clean. So we don't cherish individualism. In social work practice,
We are not hearing you again, sir.
We can't hear you again, sir.
Sorry, I'm not hearing you.
I hear you, sir.
You are offline.
am I offline?
Yes, you are back now.
Yes, sir.
You're back now.
You are back now.
Okay, that's network. Sorry about that, network.
Please, you
Your
can
mic
rewind
was
a little bit, sir.
Yes, I'll do that. I think that as social workers, and I said for any well-meaning profession, you cannot work as an individual and say you are a profession. You can, or you are a professional. It is the working together of people that makes it a profession. It is the issue of accountability and ethics that makes it a profession. I'm saying that if we are to succeed as social workers, you must downplay the level of your individualistic tendencies. You must downplay the level of wanting to be the lone star that shines. You must be able to collaborate with others. You are answerable to others. You are answerable to people within and without your practice. You are answerable to your service users. You are answerable to your colleagues. You are answerable to those who employ you. And those who employ you are also answerable to you. You are answerable to your professional association. You are answerable to your professional institutions. And you are answerable to the law of Nigeria and the law of your state where you practice. So that is why we look at the issue of ethics and accountability as one cause, and to ensure that we get what we are delivering. So, is that accountability of social workers is to the client, colleagues, employers, professional associations, institutions, and to the law. Hence, social workers are accountable for their actions, to the values and principles of the profession. You are accountable for your actions, accountable for your actions, accountable for your actions, which requires you to act in a reliable, honest, and trustworthy manner. In the basic principle, we have highlighted some of these things at the last lecture, and we are saying that if you practice, that's why I said when I was talking about normative and meta attack, it is a matter of your conscience. It is a matter of truth, saying the truth at all times and wherever. So, a person who is a social worker must be reliable. The person must be honest. The person must be trustworthy. So it means that we continuously also work on ourselves, on our character. You cannot see the world with your own eyes alone. You must also borrow the eyes of others to ensure that all of us are seeing the same thing. That is why, for those who did foundation, there is a course there at the SPE, Foundational Professional Examination. It talks about professional development. And all these issues were ironed out there in professional development. So we must know that we are answerable to our clients. We are answerable to our professional bodies like the Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners of Nigeria, that we are answerable to National Association of Social Workers, NASO. We are answerable to Association of Medical Social Workers of Nigeria. We are answerable to Association of Social Work Educators of Nigeria, and many other associations that you may belong to. Talking so far, I said,
even international.
Yes, even
even
international. When you are working across border, that is when you are working across border, then you must be able to adhere with IFSW, International Federation of Social Workers. That is when you are working across borders. But if you are working within Nigeria, the law that set up social work, the law that set up social work is the Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners of Nigeria, as we speak. And members of the Chartered Institute should also naturally belong to associations at their own different level of work. Those who are working in the health sector are expected to join medical social workers of Nigeria, AMFON. Why? Because you work in the health sector. And as a pressure group, they are the one that will fight for your right, advocate for your right, sensitize you with what goes on in the health sector, whether you benefit or not. So that is why, as one family within the health sector, those ones belong to arms one. For those who work for ministries, departments, and agencies are nationally to belong to National Association of Social Workers, NASO. That is the association, because NASO is a pressure group that will also advocate for the rights of their members who are working in ministries, departments, and agencies. It can be stepped down to other, for those who are working within the academic sector. Naturally, they should belong to Association of Social Work Educators of Nigeria, ASWEN. For those in community, if there's anything like that, Community Development Social Workers Association, they're able to fight in their own sector, community development. So people should know where they belong, where they can access their privileges, where they can access what belongs to them, and those who will together with them be able to seek for their own well-being and rights as well. But all must belong to the Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners of Nigeria, because without that, you cannot have a license to practice as medical, to practice as in the MGAs, to practice even in the academic sector. Because in the academic sector, when accreditation is coming, they'll be asking if you are a professional, if your profession is backed by law, they'll be asking for a license for them to accredit your department. So that is how serious it is. Somebody, hello? Are you hearing me?
We can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir.
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir, we are hearing you.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, and the laws promulgated and enforced by appropriate government agencies. So, apart from the laws, the ethics of protection and the principles, there are also laws within your own agency. You must be able to also know the rules of your agencies. And apart from that, you must be able to also know the laws of Nigeria and how we can also use that to help our service users. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
We are together,
what
sir.
are our ethical standards and responsibilities that inform accountability? We said we have talked about the fact that our accountability is to clients, professional practice, professionals, social work profession, social work institutions, and the likes. So let's look at it one after the other. Let's look at our accountability to clients. Our responsibility and commitment to clients. Talk about informed consent. Somebody is disturbing us. So, please mute your mic. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's on again. Can you please mute your mic? You and your son or daughter are disturbing us. Thank you. So what are our way of being accountable to our clients? We have said that the issue of informed consent is very, very crucial and vital. And I hope in our respective agencies or in our respective practice, we know what informed consent is. It is not just asking that whether you agree or not to these questions and to this intervention. No, it is not like that, because that will save you or that may nail you. We must have in our agencies informed consent form. Informed consent form must always be available. After, if you have talked with the person, if you can read or write, will also look at it and write it for our own name there and sign. I told you that from the beginning, you need, when you are having rapport, developing rapport with your client, and you are setting the standard or the rules of engagement. That is part of it. And when you have done all that, the person sign, you also sign, informed consent. It is not just the word of mouth, because a person may tell you he was in a bad state when you are telling all those things. He doesn't understand. He may even say you have not told him for her, except where such are being recorded. And if you don't, if you have recording gadgets in your office, you do well to tell even your clients that what if it's comfortable with being recorded or not. You must be able to let him know that you are recording, because it's not there. It's not in forensic social work office. So those are part of informed consent or service user. Some might say, I'm not ready for this intervention now. I'm not ready for it. So it is in rapport and at that level of informed consent to go ahead in the intervention that comes in, except for where a person does not have the ability to sign an informed consent. In that situation, it means that it may have significant other that may be taken into confidence to sign the consent form for the initiation and the process of the intervention to begin. So there's also confidentiality and privacy. We have talked about confidentiality before. We said what you say here ends here. What you tell me ends here. Nobody hears it, except when the issue of life threatening is involved. That is when confidentiality is total. And you know that in the social work practice, we have case conferencing and review, except for that. We mentioned the last and the first lecture, we talked about the issue of triage protocol of social work practice. When we have triage in social work practice and a matter needs to be discussed among practitioners within that facility, confidentiality is not totally broken. Why? Because the conference and the review committee is not interested in the name of the person. They may not know the person personally or know the full name of the person. The person is a service user or a subject So, except when that comes in, that also is not breaking of confidentiality, because each social worker handling cases that have been assigned to them has to come and present the cases that they are handling to ensure that the right model is being used, the right intervention is being given, the right procedure is being followed for the betterment of the service user and the protection of the agency. In that case, you have not broken confidentiality. And when, because that is where it will be discovered whether the person handling that case has the requisite knowledge of handling such case. Whether that case should not have been assigned to that person in the first place. It is in presentations like that, or other people also bring in their contribution for the betterment of the intervention to be given to that service user. Or there should be a review of the intervention that is given to that service user. So it is at conferencing and case review that comes up, and it has not broken the issue of confidentiality and privacy. I've mentioned about 3 scenarios now where confidentiality can seem as if it's broken, but it's not broken. So, and number 3, maintaining records. Record is a form of accountability. Our service users' records. I said one time that our files must be neat and intact. Social workers must develop that skill of recording their proceedings with their service user at the end of your session with your service user. You must be able to write down your engagement with that service user, and your service user must be given to read it. Because whatever transpires between you and your service user is not you, it is that person you are laboring to ensure his well-being or ensure that he becomes a better person. So once you have, and social workers must have a form where they fill in apart from the clerking that took place before a service user is assigned to the social worker. The social worker must be able to have his own form where the echogram of the service user is taken. So the echogram of the service user is taken, and what brought the service user is there. Your discussion with the service user, what he says, what you said, everything must be there. If the service user can read, at the end of your session, you give it to him to read. Does this represent what we have discussed today? If you say, oh, no, I didn't say this, you do well to get a clearer information. Because as we write, sometimes we may write something amiss. Sometimes I've quarrel with a medical doctor sometimes. Don't mind me, because when I go to medical doctors, I want to see what they are written about what they are prescribing to me. So, and sometimes I will see writing like that I cannot read. So I ask them, please, what did you write here? What did you write here? I didn't see. I'll ask them. I know some archaic doctors. They will tell you, no. You don't have right to do that. No, you have rights. You have rights. It is you. That file they are putting, it is you they are putting inside that file. It is about you that is written on that paper. So you have right to ask, what is this? What did you write? What drug are you prescribing for me? You need to ask. And doctors these days will ask you, do you react to medicine like this or like this? So they will ask you. So you need to know. So the same way, social workers are to ensure that their services understand what they are doing with them. And once it is sorted out that represents the intervention for that day, in your report, you give your brief report and what your recommendations are at the end of the day, backed by your ethics and the law. That is where social work is tend to be a profession, not head knowledge, not what do you call it now? Not being streetwise profession. It is a profession. So documentation and maintaining of records. When you are not even there tomorrow, because of one thing or the other, somebody else taking over that intervention from you can just open it, like I told you before, that a file, the record of our service users they are the ones we are seeing in that record. The record, their facts represent them in absentia. So you are accountable to your clients, even in the matter of the proceedings that you took in your intervention. Number 4, physical contact and sexual relations. You know it's forbidden. You cannot have sexual intercourse, contact, and relation with your service users. So we keep ourselves on that. Interruption of services and termination of services. So there's going to be interruption of service whereby you discover that you can no longer go ahead in handling that case. You must be able to hold up to your agency that because of this reason, I will not be able to continue my intervention in this community or in this family or with this group or with this person. Kindly please assign to others. You give your cogent reason. And what you just discussed, physical contact and social relations can be part of it. Being a family member can be part of it. Being a church member can be part of it. Being a member of the same association can be part of it. But you give your reason why you think that service must be interrupted. And termination of service. When you know that at this point, there's nothing else you can offer. And you need to refer that service user to another professional or to another specialist within the social work practice. Then you do well to do it and write your reports, your referral report of what has been done. That's why you need to have a referral form. There's a column in that referral form that talks about what you have done with the person. That the person is not starting again, because that is the reason services that don't want to come for the appointment. Sometimes this new person is going to now start all over again to ask me all the questions I have already divulged to this person and all this. needlessly stress service users. Once you have been able to keep your records straight and you are able to make your referral and give in your referral form details of what has been done, and then your recommendation have been done, and all those things. It's a letter that is written and sent to that other facility or agency or social worker that he will receive and acknowledge. And that acknowledgement will come to the file of the person in your facility that you keep. And then the person continues with that other social worker or agency or ministry or whatever. That continues. So that is how we account for, to our service users. Are we together? So, in further to that, the primary responsibility of the professional is to promote the well-being of service users. Social workers must ensure the best interest of their service users in the helping process while maintaining due regard to the interest of others. We have talked about informed consent. We have talked about confidentiality. We talked about maintaining of records. We have talked about physical contact and social relations. We have talked about professional. Okay, the last thing is about professional charges for service. We know that people think that social work service is for free. No, it is not for free. Why is it not for free? One, because many of us are employed by government, so we collect salary. So your charges is on the government. You have charged the government pays you salary for that. So needless you bother your service users if you are one who is working in the service of the government, federal, state, local, or agencies of the federal government. You don't task. But if it's a private practice or independent social work practice, then you are to charge for your labor. And it is always advised that social workers don't charge to scare away or to make people not to come for interventions in their services, or where your service is being sponsored by some agencies, development agencies, where you are working for like some agencies like you said, and the like that. So you don't charge. Why? Because your establishment is, or your agency is being paid indirectly by development partners to work on certain program or certain projects. But it's only when you are an independent practitioner who is not being sponsored that you talk about charging of fees. Some people, they carry out psychosocial intervention for others. Some people, they engage in sleep therapy. Some people, they engage in social support services. Some people, so whatever you have established as an independent social work practitioner, then you know how to charge your moderate. Don't forget, it is service to humanity. You are not expected to rip service users up while delivering your service. And that is why also your practice is being checkmate by the institute, and it's also being checkmate by EFCC. before you can practice as independent social work practitioner. Part of the document you get is CAC, and then you get the EFCC approval. What do they call it now? They call it something like that. The leader now. When I remember.
It says Kumo, sir.
Yes.
Kumo.
Thank you, Kumo.
Right.
Yeah, Kumo. Yeah, thank you. So that is why, because you must be able to also give accounts at the end of the day, even to PFCC every year. Audited account is also there. You need to do your audited account every year and submit to EFCC. So you see, that's also to checkmate, to look at what so that you don't even use your services as laundry, the money laundry activities, things like that. So that's all about professional charges. We're talking about interruption of service, we're talking about termination of service. Okay. Ethical responsibility to colleagues. Ethical responsibility to colleagues. That's what we want to handle now. Under our accountability to colleagues, one of the first things is the issue of respect. We must respect and accord respect to our colleagues. We must know our seniors. For social work to be a profession like others, the issue of respect, is part of attitude we talk about in ethics. Respect. You must know your professional senior. That is why by the time you will be having your induction, they are going to be pepped up on that. Junior colleagues don't insult, junior colleagues don't disrespect their senior colleagues. Junior colleague cannot see, when you see senior colleague, you bow and pass. Junior colleague cannot just, you lift up your hand and say you want to shake your senior colleague. He must first bring forth his own hand for you to shake. So the issue of respect is there. And everybody knows who is or a senior is. One, by your reg number. Two, by the year of your induction. Three, by your progression in the institute. Whether you are associate, you are the most junior. Full member after that. Senior member afterwards. Fellow after that. That is why in our programs, we sit fellows first. Senior members next. Full members next. Associate next. Student members last. That is the order of respect. You are called your professional colleagues. Why? Because you are accountable to them. You cannot argue with your senior colleague. If you must hear your view, hear your view respectfully. There is the issue of interdisciplinary collaboration. You have talked about the fact that you are accountable not only to social work, you have talked about the intra and extra ethics. So you are not only accountable to your colleagues alone who are social workers. There are other, because social work is one of the multidisciplinary team. So where social workers have, we have mentioned in this lecture that there are other professionals, there are other disciplines that work close, or that social workers also work close with. Take for example, those in the medical. Social workers are there, nurses are there, doctors are there, psychologists are there, physiologists are there. We have nutritionists are there. So you have basically many disciplines within the medical practice, and there must be collaboration. We have explained this issue of collaboration. You are accountable to each of these professionals, even though they may not be members of your own profession. The same way, they also being members of their own profession are accountable to you as social workers. Because in the matter of ethics and accountability, it is always almost the same. So that a professional or a profession can dominate others is fallacy in multidisciplinary team. This team of professionals will say their own or do their own. This team will come, and like medical practice, when you are going on one grant, doctors will say their own, medical doctors. Physiotherapists will also talk about that client on the bed and what they have done with him. Nutritionists will say what they have done with him and what they need to do next. Social workers also will say what they have done with him and what they are still doing and what they are doing next. So one is not dominating the other because there is senior wretch. That is why there is also a mini conference. So you see how we work together. You are accountable to your colleagues. You are accountable to other multidisciplinary. There must be collaboration. And where you have disputes involving colleagues, and because as social workers, we are expected to do things right. We are expected to ensure that people well-being and life become what is best and what is good for them. As social workers and as human beings, we may have one gray area of differences, but that should not cause our clients or our service users. We must be able to know how we resolve issues among ourselves. Like group 3, they were having challenges, and one or two of them talked with me that they're having challenges like that. I said, well, one of the reasons you are in a group is to be able to function as one and be able to carry one another along what you are doing. It is a form of collaboration together. Rise or sink together. So better go back and sort out yourself as social workers. And I'm very happy that they went back and they sorted themselves and they are working together as a team. That is the beginning. That is the beginning. There will be sometimes differences, but we must be able to find amongst ourselves. And we must not allow our differences or what is happening between or among ourselves to affect our service users, because the comfort, the well-being, the peace of our service users is the goal. So we must be able to sort out our differences amicably. Incompetence and impairment of colleagues. Talk about the issue of when a colleague is incompetent, maybe because he's a new entrant into the social work profession. He has not been able to grasp the issue he or she is working on. Then That is why you have supervision, and that's why you have colleagues. But sometimes you see that your colleague is sick. He may be psychologically sick. He may be socially sick. He may be environmentally sick.
I will eat it.
That brings about his own impairment. And you know that will affect the service being delivered. Police are running around such a person. That is why we have seniors. That is why we have supervisors within our practice, within agencies, things like that. And we should be able to help one another and not to expose the weakness of our colleagues to make them ridiculed. We, as social workers, as professionals, we don't give room for the ridicule of our colleagues. We must protect our colleagues. I think one of these questions was asked, I think last week or so, talking about the issue of a colleague that something happened to. So because of that, so we are accountable to that person to make sure that he is well before the service user that is laboring to intervene in his own life. And when we discover and we see a thing, we also need to report it. See something, say something. Why? Because our service users, our agencies are more than individual of us. And we must be able to shield our agency from porosity of our colleagues that are not incompetent or having some form of impairment or the other, while giving them chances and opportunities to teach themselves or go for further studies or take that person into confidence and act as mentor to that person. So that person also can become expert that he or she ought to be in the discharge of his or her responsibility to the service user within the agency. On ethical behavior of colleagues, we are saying this because we are saying that we are accountable to our colleagues. Whether our colleague is bad or good, whether you are good or bad, your colleagues must be accountable to you. So because we want to go together and ensure a perfect environment, an ethical environment, a better environment for us to work in, we must be able to handle the issue of unethical behavior of police. Why? Because, like I said again, there is the issue of supervisor either being subtly reported to supervisor or some form of work is taken away from you to concentrate on field and things like that. So there are ways of managing, because when it comes to unethical behavior of police, maybe we said the other time that the issue of money must not bring you and your service user together. You cannot be begging your service user to give you money. When he cannot be giving you bribe. When it is discovered that you took the bribe from the service user, when it is so that you are keeping money privately for service user, or you are acting as estate agent for the service user, and the likes, is unethical. You cannot act as agents for the service user. You cannot be your service user's boyfriend or girlfriend. And if those are discovered, there is disciplinary measures to be meted to such at the agency level. And when it escalates to the professional institute level, different committee will be set up, and then the person may is wrong. And the name of that person is advertised on the pages of newspaper. Once the license is withdrawn, you are advertised on newspaper. They are not get to that point where licenses are wrong. And when you have to go to challenge the case where it's like, it takes time. You go to the High Court. High Court, you will go.
Please, sir, let this guy will do the call, mute our phone.
You go to the High Court to challenge the judgment of the professional body disciplinary committee. So, unethical behaviors are handled first at personal level, agencies level, then at the level of the professional. When you get to the professional body, there's at the higher, it will be escalated at the higher level. So it's like that. So referral for services and consultation. And then you're talking about sexual harassment and sexual relationship. Is my time up? Okay, I think I have 11 more minutes or 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay, thank you. Maybe we should stop from here. We continue next week. So that if those who have questions, contributions and confessions are raised. Well, at our own leisure time, let's look at the responsibility to professional practice. Education and consultation training. Is anybody's hand up? Okay, nobody's hand is up. We have more than 100 participants.
Hello, sir.
Sorry, we have more than 100 candidates in this diet. I'm recording 42 out of 100. That's below average. I don't know what others are doing. I don't really know what they are doing, why they are not attending the class. And let me, before I answer question, I need to also sound this note of warning to those who will just come and they will just join the class and leave. I heard somebody at the beginning of the class that said, at least he has joined the class. Let them, let them sabi what they want to do. So that is not good of a person who wants to become a professional. I only got the voice. I didn't get the name of the person. You don't encourage people to just leave their line open without being part of the class and say they are the one that knows what they should be. They are going to take attendance. You just join for attendance for attendance sake. Please, the person that said that should take warning. You are not attending for attendance sake. It is even an insult on all of us that are in this class. It should not repeat itself again. If you have it in your heart, fine. But saying it out is a case of discipline. But we'll pardon you for that one for today. But please ensure you attend class. Don't just join the class and leave to be doing something else. That is the abuse of online class. And social workers are encouraged to also use tele-intervention. Tele-intervention. Everything is not physical. Can do intervention on the media. Please get that warning and repent. Okay. Yes, who has a
question, sir? Question, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. At the beginning, when you are telling us about
I'm not hearing you clearly. Please.
At the beginning, sir.
Yes, please.
Beginning, sir. You are telling us about professional attitude that must be truthful to ourselves, our clients, our professional colleagues, and you give us that list. Then later you mention meta ethics. Is it METAL? I couldn't really sure.
Meta ethics.
Meta ethics, yes. The meta there is the META. Okay, META, okay. Okay, sir. All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Give you.
Thank you, sir.
No more questions? No more contribution? Who wants to contribute? And no more confession?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay, sir. Please, I want to get a clarification on something, sir. Where culture clashes with ethics of your professionalism? In the case of where you go to a community that still practices female genital mutilation, and you find out that you have done everything, you have even met the maybe elders or people that are concerned with that, and they have told you it's their culture. How do you abandon the case, or do you take up the case with the appropriate authority? Because here I can see that the ethics of your profession and their culture has clashed. In this case, what are you supposed to do as a professional? Do you just leave
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first thing is where culture and your ethics clash. That's what we call ethical dilemma.
Yes, sir.
Cultural ethical dilemma. The first thing is that culture. Does the law of Nigeria support it? Genital, female genital GM. Is there any law that negates it in Nigeria?
I think international law is against it, not even Nigerian law alone.
International law is against it, one. Nigerian law is also against it. Not so?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, how does the ethics of regional conflict with that? That is a harmful, that's what we call harmful cultural practices. It is one of the harmful cultural practices that we advocate for people to end. So when you get to a community like that, what you need to do more is advocacy. If you have done more advocacy, sensitizing even them about the law of the land, and anyone that is doing that, you bring the law to fore. We have talked about the fact that it's not only social work ethics, even other law of Nigeria, law of the state, is also used in the defense of ourselves. And we're also accountable to the law of Nigeria and the law of our state and the law of our practice establishment or agency. So in a case where you meet such, you have not broken any ethics of your profession, and you have not broken their own culture. It's just that they are adamant at practicing their own culture, which are as harmful cultural practice. So what we need to do more is more advocacy, more sensitization, and things like that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Good evening, sir. I want to buttress on what you just said, sir, concerning the harmful cultural beliefs. I believe national or state or international law supersedes any harmful cultural beliefs. So
Yeah, sure.
in that case of female genital mutilation and even breast ironing, so as a social worker, you sensitize them, you advocate for them, and you make them know that all these laws supersedes any harmful cultural beliefs. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, on this note, we want to wind down this class. Thank you very much for being part of today's interaction. We'll see you again next week, Friday. You have a restful weekend ahead of you.
And you too,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
And
so
you
much.
too,
Thank you
sir.
very much,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you,
very much,
sir.
sir. God bless, sir.
We are grateful. It's a
Thank
wonderful
you, sir.
session.
Have a lovely
Have a good
weekend,
sir.
Bye.